Hi, I'm Peter Maloni, Divisional Franchisor for Jim's Hazmat Removal. About 8 years in an asbestos format, but in the last 2.5 hazardous removal. Formulated from building inspections actually. They were finding a lot of mould affected and asbestos affected jobs and felt that there was a real demand for that in the public sector, so we decided to create a more detailed format of inspection and repair. Yeah, look, there's a lot of unserviced leads going through. We certainly do not have enough teams to quantify the work that's out there. So yeah, and that's on a national level as well. So we're finding big numbers that are unserviced. So we've got capacity for growth, which is really, really good. So it's a market that's very niche, and so I think the demand's going to always be there. Look, you can come in completely out of this sector untrained, which is great because we'll help you do all the training. We include the four fundamental asbestos, water mitigation, mould remediation and methamphetamine, decon and sampling. And then outside of that, you've got a full scope of fire, smoke, chemical, trauma. There's a myriad of different services that you can provide. So we can do all that training for you in-house, and as long as you've got the will to be a success and be a really good entrepreneur for your own business, see your business grow, then we can do everything else for you. Yeah, look, I think it suits a multitude of different people really. I think it can be physically demanding, but it's also got a science element to it as well. In a lot of cases we're testing and sampling as well. We do want to be prominent in that field, so it is science-backed. A lot of the sampling and testing we do, results have to go and be sent to a lab, and so you know, some of the methods that we're using are quite detailed. So good eye for detail. We also do strip outs, remediation and stuff like that. So it's, for me, the reason I think this is a good business is because it's so diversified. There's so many different variables about and services that we provide. So someone who's willing to learn is really important, and someone who's willing to just get in and try it, because most people who've started in this business started from a completely different industry, and usually what they're doing is they're finding it's really exciting, it's new and it's different. And once you get all the training up to speed, then it's just a matter of scale, and then you can grow from that. Yeah, look, the generic training is the first part, so that's about that's a 3-day generic training format, and then we get the guys to come into our office on the 4th day and they spend some time with us. We go into detail around our services, because most of the guys are just looking to what else do we do, and when we tell them all the other stuff we do, they're really excited by that, because they think a lot of the times they're just thinking we're doing asbestos removal, and we're not. That's probably it's a primary one, but it's certainly not the most important one. And then what we'll do is we'll try and get you out to training, on a day out on the road with one of our guys, just to see what we do as well. And then once you commit to joining gyms, we'll lock you into all the training, and a lot of the training is online early on, and we do some internal training as well. And then basically you can tap into all our templates, all our services, all our advice, because in this particular industry, because it's so niche, you really can't just go out and make this up as you go, and you can use us and our team internally as a reference point, and we'll check your quotes, we'll make sure they're right, we'll adjust them, send them back to you, and that way, you know, you can really start on day one. You can be running from day one already trained up in methamphetamine, mould and water straight from the word go. Asbestos will take a little bit longer because it's in Melbourne it's about a 2-year progress, everywhere else about 12-month progress to get your licence, but we've got teams all around Australia that will help you with training and getting your licence. Yeah, look, the paperwork guarantees are a supporting mechanism. It's all like an insurance policy to give people the impetus to jump and come on board, because everyone's thinking, oh, you know, still got bills to pay and mortgage and everything else. So for us, it's $2,000 a week. We expect you to be earning minimum of $2,000 a week. And the theory behind that is that if you're when you start and you're not quite, it's always slow a bit early on, but once you get in those first few months, you might only earn say $6,000 for the first month. You can put in a claim for paperwork for $2,000, and that's a pay for work. So we don't expect you to sit at home doing nothing. We want you to market yourself, and by doing that we get you out there to real estate agents, builders, community housing sectors, and you get paid going out and sell yourself. $50 per visit, and that'll make up that shortfall. And then what you're doing is creating that network as well as creating more leads through your system, and eventually that'll just grow, and then hopefully the network outgrows the lead system. Yeah, we do have an outstanding camp. We've got two actually, one in Sydney and one in Brisbane. Gary, who's in Brisbane, came out of the car wash industry. He had a franchise in that, and was running probably 4 car washes, and got a bit sick of doing that and wanted something different. So he came on board and just on his own. And when I first started, he was just himself, and I actually had quite a big conversation with him yesterday. He's now got 4 teams on the road, 2 girls in his office, and he's looking to buy a factory warehouse. So and that's only been over 2.5 years. So I think the key for that is he's very entrepreneurial. He wants to make it happen. He gets out there and he makes it happen, and he's not waiting for anyone else. And the brand, with gyms, I think the difference is that you get to determine your future here. It's how hard and how fast you want to work and what you want to achieve. And Gary's situation is a perfect example of growth, because he was on his own 2.5 years ago, and now he's turning over nearly $1 million a year, which is just amazing. So Darko runs 2 territories in Sydney. His first one was really successful, so he's bought a second now. And he comes from a music background. He was a music teacher, and so yeah, he came in, done all the training. He's built up such a really good network around him now. He's actually employing guys to do asbestos removal for him now, and he's got his own internal team. And he runs now both inner west and down south in Sydney, and the market up there is huge. So yeah, hopefully one day our plan for Darko will be for possibly being a franchisor at some point. Yeah, look, I think from there, and well, Darko definitely is young family, 5 kids, just wasn't getting to where he wanted to go, and decided he just had to take the jump. And so yeah, whether it was more out of frustration, I think, not really being able to achieve what he wanted to in the industry that he was in, and then just seeing how he can control that. So the fact is, he was in control of that jump and how far he wanted to jump, I guess, and the risk he was prepared to take. And yeah, and Gary, yeah, I think from Gary's perspective, it was almost about he couldn't really grow a network as big and as quick. I think the brand with gyms, it was the critical point there. So he was able to get more contact, more reach, and more confidence from clients, giving the brand, I think. Yeah, well, the great thing with the gym's FMS system is that they can actually take on extra work or actually slow it down if they get busy, and they can create the balance that they need in their life, whether that's as simple as just answering a phone call or not. And if they've got special events or holidays or time away, they can actually slow down, turn off leads for that period of time, or transfer leads to somebody else in the interim while they're gone. So all it's doing is giving control back to them, where once before I think most of the guys have been working for the man and being controlled by others. Now they're actually in a position to actually control their own destiny, and I think that is huge for a lot of people, because some of the guys not necessarily don't need to make $1 million a year. They're actually looking just for more balance in their life. Especially a lot of these guys are, family men with young kids as well. And so yeah, a lot of the talk we get is that, guys are leaving in the dark, coming home in the dark, not really spending much time with their family. And this actually does give them an opportunity to take a bit more control back over their life. Yeah, look, the income potential is actually, it's a little bit diverse, because not everybody does all the services that we provide. So some of our guys are just doing asbestos only. The difference with asbestos only is quite interesting, because some of these guys have got such good networks in that industry sector, and they're earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just doing one service. That's it. And whereas the other guys like Darko and Gary are doing all services. They're the unicorns in our industry, I guess, but if you're an average person who's come from outside sectors and just trying this for the first time, we would say your minimum income, we've got cash flow docs that we look at, and we track the income of the potential, and it's about minimum 150, but the average of these guys is probably around 250 a year for guys who are just doing the stock standard sort of work with a very minimal network. The guys who are doing really well are the ones who have got 2 or 3 vans on the road, got multiple teams running at any one time, and they can be in excess of 300,000. Yeah, look, the system is, people can't quite believe when I tell them that we don't take anything out of your profit. And because I said, yeah, you can have 1 van on the road, 1 person driving, and then eventually go into 4 or 5 vehicles on the road with half a dozen teams running on the road, and it doesn't cost you 1 cent more to have 5 vans as it does to have 1. So the fee system is good. It only increases through CPI every year, so it's a fair and equitable way of working. You lock in budgets very easily with that. I think that's probably the big thing. You know your outgoings every month, what the fees are going to entail. Plus the fact is that it also enables gyms to take over the call centre. A lot of the, taking the calls, sending you all those jobs that are coming through, whilst you can still run your jobs, and you don't have to be sitting on a phone all day. So yeah, the fee system works really well. So the fees for us, so we've incorporated a package whereby someone can start on day 1. When they go live, they can start. So things like, we set up a chemical pack. It's a starter pack that gets you going, that allows you to go in and do any type of remediation, whether it be mould, water, chemical, methamphetamine. So you get a chemical pack, you get a meth test kit to start with, you get a moisture meter with an infrared camera, which means you can go out and do your reporting straight away. We can introduce you to quoting templates as well. So you've got it all there, it's all pre-populated, you just have to fill it out and send it from site. You can do it in the car once you've finished your inspection. And a PPE pack, which for what we do is probably the most important, and it'll have things like suits, booties, gloves, goggles, masks, filtered masks, and signage for you as well. And then the other great thing as well, we'll wrap your vehicle in the gym's hazmat brand. It's quite striking. We think it looks good. It stands out on the road. And that's all about local area marketing for you, going to the shops, going to the footy club, whatever it's going to be. People know you're that community guy who can do all those sort of services. So they're all included into that package, and a lot of it is all just the training. It's all training. So yes, for me, I think it's quite a cheap business to buy. Like, to buy a business already running, and the capacity of earning would be a lot greater than what we're charging out for that territory. Yeah, well, I think where once it was all about asbestos and that was the enemy, well, we're sort of in control of that now, I think, from a legislative way, which is great. But I really believe that people are becoming more aware around mould and the issues around health attached to that. Exposure to that, especially in the tenant sector, renters are really at the beck and call of a landlord in a lot of ways. And the way we've got a sampling system now whereby a tenant can go, get us in, get a sample of that particular property, take it to a landlord and say, look, we've verified this. So there's a little bit more protection now for the tenants than there ever has been before. And then also with new purchases of properties, we can actually get, you can get us to come in and test a property for methamphetamine, and which a lot of people didn't even know existed, but it's out there. And there's all new drugs out there, especially things like fentanyl and that. They're epidemic in America that we know are coming, and we're setting up protocols for testing and sampling for that as well. So it's going to grow, and it's going to keep growing, and when the consumer starts to demand more sampling and inspections, we'll be ready. Look, the best way is to call 131 546, go to our website, click on the links there and put your details in, and we'll contact you